Hello and welcome, guys. Thank you for joining me again for another Facebook Live. It is indeed a pleasure to be here with you, and I look forward to many more evenings ahead for us to come and just sit and have a conversation. I do hope that your day has been productive, and I do hope that you have taken advantage of a little of the time throughout your day to learn something new. Learning is a lifelong process, and uh, every opportunity you have to learn something, you should take advantage of that. Tonight we're talking about sexual orientation. It is a part of our Time to Talk series. Time to Talk series is just a play off of my new book that I just found out. One of them has been released early, so right now on Amazon, you can go and catch a preview of my new book, Time to Talk. So we'll talk a little bit about that later and as time goes on. Also, we're getting ready for our Mother's Day giveaway. So starting tomorrow night, you'll want to join in with us for a few nights to see how you can get your name in that drawing for our Mother's Day giveaway. So as always, as you're logging on, please go ahead and like and share this video so that others on your timeline can join in on the discussion. And also feel free to leave me a comment or question in the comments section. I've been kind of battling with myself about how I was going to attack this subject tonight because it is such a sensitive subject. I just want to be aware and I want to be careful how I give the information tonight. I know that when we are talking about sexual orientation, we all have our own different perceptions of what that looks like, what's right, what's wrong. And being that I'm your host and I'm on this platform, I don't necessarily think like everybody else thinks. So the way I view or perceive sexual orientation may be different from yours, and that is okay. I just ask that if you leave a comment or a question here in the comment section, that you be sure to be respectful of all people and also be respectful in lieu of how you interact on this platform. Okay? Like I have just mentioned, when it comes to sexual orientation or sexual preference, my personal belief or my personal opinion on that is that regardless of whether it's right or it's wrong, regardless of how you feel about it, I believe that a person has a right to choose. They have a right to choose just like you have a right to choose what you desire or what you like. So when it comes to saying, well, no, it's sinful and if you do certain things, you'll die and go to hell and you'll do all this. Well, what I believe is that the blood sacrifice that was made, it was made for all of us. So wherever we are on that spectrum, if it can cover us in our sin and what we believe to be sin, why can't it do that for somebody else? So if this topic tonight offends you, let me first say I apologize. And let me also say that you are free to excuse yourself. Okay, because that's just the way I feel about it. And that's my opinion. And I respect a lot of people's opinion on how they feel about different variations of sexual orientation. And I don't try to persuade anybody one way or another. So I wanted to just kind of break down and give you an understanding when we see those letter acronyms, the LGBTQ population. So when we see that, what does it stand for? What does it mean? What does it look like? Me personally, I believe that as human and as a nation, as a culture, we want to label everything. We have a label for everything. And I believe that somebody putting themselves to be labeled by these acronyms about what they stand for simply because of their sexual preference, I believe that they box themselves in and put themselves in a box to be set aside or to be put in a certain domain. I don't do labels. I am who I am on any day of the week, and you can call me what you want. Whatever lifestyle I live, that is my lifestyle. Whatever lifestyle you live and you choose to live, that's you. All we have to do is respect one another. All we have to do is respect one another. And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. So when I'm telling you or giving you a little bit of information about these acronyms, this LGBTQ, all of that, I'm just telling you what they stand for, what we've labeled them as, and just kind of give you some insight. Because whether you're heterosexual, homosexual, asexual, whatever it is that you identify as, that doesn't dictate who you are. That does not determine who you are. We as humans are more than one-dimensional. We are very complex. So to label somebody and to identify somebody simply because of their sexual preference, then I see a problem with that. And that's what we have been so accustomed to do, is just label people, put them over here, put them over there, and try to decide where they belong. But regardless, guys, and I want you to know this, especially if you're watching me or listening to me on the replay from SoundCloud or YouTube, is that whatever your preference is has no bearing on how far you can go in this life. You still matter. And regardless of the small minds that try to label you and to put you in a box or to say what you can or cannot have based upon a sexual preference, it's all lies, and you don't have to stand for it. You dictate and you determine who you're going to be and the level of success that you will have in this life. Now, will you be judged? Yes. Will there be oppositions? Yes. Will there be barriers? Yes. Just simply because of your preference? Yes. But so is it with the rest of us out here. So has it been for colored people. So has it been for women. So has it been for certain religious groups. That's just what we've been conditioned to do or conditioned to be all this time. So it's human. Human want to put stamps and label on things, especially those things that they don't understand. So regardless of what your preference, regardless of whatever lifestyle you live in, remember that you still matter, and it does not dictate, regardless of how you can reach or obtain any level of success. So just know that. So I wanted to kind of break down the letter acronyms, LGBT. Even found that there was another one today with an I, intersexual, which was something new for me because I had never heard of it before. So I'm just going to try to break it down, give you an idea. So when you hear this, you'll know what it is. Stop trying to label everybody the same way. Stop trying to judge people by what they do and the life they live. You live your best life. And maybe you living your best life, whatever's important to you can kind of impart it into somebody else. L is stands for the lesbian. Now, what I understand about the lesbian identification or the lesbian label is that it is a female whose sexual preference is to be attracted to another female. And some people, they say, well, that's okay, but this ain't. So regardless of whatever your preference is, you don't get to decide what's okay and what's not okay for somebody. If you believe it is a sin, it's a sin for you and whatever. So stop judging people. I have to say that, and I have to say it. Stop judging people. Accept people for who they are and love them regardless. The G is gay. Now, what I understand gay to be is a male person whose sexual orientation is attracted to another male or another male figure. Bisexual. Now, bisexual is either male or female, and their sexual preference is either another male or another female, male or female, just either way. So I think what they call it nowadays is fluid. So that they're just attracted who they're attracted to, regardless if it's a male figure or a female figure, same sex or different sex. Transgender. Transgender are those that are born biologically female or born biologically male, which meaning the parts and how we identify male or female, but they identify as say I'm a woman and I'm biologically a woman, but I identify as being male. So I feel as though that I'm a woman biologically, I have all the women parts, but I feel as though I'm a man trapped inside of a woman's biological parts. So that is what the transgender orientation is. So they don't feel as though they are gay or straight or whatever. It's simply that biologically I was born and identified as such, but my attraction is toward, because I feel as though I'm a man or identify as a male, my attraction is toward women, even though I'm a woman exteriorly. And this is where you see a lot of the transgender populations getting the reconstructive surgeries so that what they feel that they identify with matches with what they see when they look in the mirror. I hope that I made that clear. If you, like I said, if you have a question or a comment, feel free to leave it and I'll try to make it as plain as I can for you guys. Then there's what I call questioning. Some call it queer. I call it questioning. And what that says is that some people are just uncertain of what they identify with. Some people are uncertain. They are attracted to whatever. They don't identify male or female. They know that they are just human, and they are attracted to whatever it is that they are attracted to. So I don't care for using the word queer. I think that it is an insult to any population. It's no different than using the N word or other slang words that we identify cultures with. So questioning is the way that I relate to that orientation. Another is intersexual. And I believe that we have always used, in my culture, we've always used another word for it. So I wanted to include this in here, and it's the I, the intersexual. And these are those that are born with a biological sex of maybe both sex, or a sex that is not determined. We can't determine biologically what that looks like. So they're neither biologically male nor female. So how they identify is some of them go and have a surgery to remove parts or take away parts so that they can identify as one or the other. Now, sexual orientation, there is nothing new about it. There's nothing new about sexual orientation. It has been controversial. It has been discussed since day one of human creation. It is what it is. Sexuality is not a surprise to creation. Sexual orientation is not a shock to the Lord of this creation. And there's more to judging someone by how they identify or from their sexual preference than just saying, well, if you do this, then that. I believe that you condemn yourself by the condition or the state of your heart. And when I speak about your heart, I'm talking about your mind. You can live your life, live it the best that you can. Don't allow others to oppress you. Don't allow others to say what you can and cannot do simply because you're different than quote unquote the norm. Because you matter. So I thank you guys for joining me tonight. I hope that I've helped you understand a little bit about the acronyms and what they mean when you hear these terms and these labels to identify a particular culture or to identify what sexual orientation is and what the preferences of those and how they identify. I do hope that you expand your perception of things. live your best life as it pertains to you. Love people. Embrace people in spite of. Because the blood sacrifice that covers you is the same blood sacrifice that covers everybody else. We think we write about so many things, and oftentimes we find that we're just religious, we're just set in our ways, and we want to dictate and pull apart things. But if you're going to be right, you make sure that you're right in all areas of your life, and make sure that you don't esteem yourself high while suppressing other cultures low. Because that, my dear, is not the way that the Lord of my creation operates. He created us all. He loves us all. Let's be loving, less judging, more loving, and let's live this life, our best life. All right, guys, we'll talk to you tomorrow. I hope that you have a good night. If you join me tomorrow, we're going to start our first giveaway. For getting ready to start our first drawing, putting names in the drawing for our Mother's Day giveaway. Also, if you go on Amazon, I saw that the Kindle version of my new book, Time to Talk, has been released, so you can get your copy there. You can even get a free copy of it if you are a part of the Kindle Unlimited. So go and check that out. I appreciate you guys for sacrificing and joining me every night. And I appreciate you guys that are catching it on the replay. Have a good night. God bless you.